In the spring, she was still just a puppy, innocent, playful, and affectionate. So the children of the owners of one of the dachas brought her along to the site. Throughout the summer, the children couldn't part with Maggie, the name they affectionately gave their new companion. She enjoyed treats when the owners grilled kebabs and sausages. With pleading eyes, she looked to them for bones and even fetched sticks. Maggie believed herself to be the happiest dog, blessed with a family, a cozy home, and delectable meals. As the time came to depart, the children erupted into genuine protests. They hesitated to bid farewell to Maggie, understanding that not every stray dog could endure the winter. Even the youngest comprehended this, yet their parents remained resolute. "Mom, can we bring Maggie home? I'll take her for walks," implored the 10-year-old girl through teary eyes. Maggie looked into her eyes, as if understanding that this was about her, but she did not yet know that she had already been betrayed. The dog ran after the car for a long time, trying to catch up with it until its strength left it. She watched with longing as the owner's car disappeared around the bend. She was left alone, abandoned, homeless, and no longer needed by anyone. She didn't understand why the people she loved would do this to her. From the house opposite, Aaron watched the neighbors leave. He was one of the few who permanently lived at the dacha. When Maddie returned to her boarded-up house, he stood with a hatchet over a whole pile of firewood with which he planned to heat his home. Watching the dog suffer, his heart sank. He couldn't stand still and watch, so he went outside and started calling the dog. But Maddie was completely at a loss and did not respond to the stranger's call. With her tail between her legs, she ran away from the home that was once dear to her. In the evening, when it began to get dark, Aaron noticed that something was lying in front of the house. He went outside again and saw an abandoned dog. Aaron called her again. She obediently stood up and went to his yard. Apparently, she sensed that there was no threat to her here. Aaron stroked Maggie's head. "Now I'll feed you," the man said. Having eaten all the porridge, which contained large pieces of meat, Maggie was in no hurry to leave. By this time, the man had already finished with the firewood and was sitting on the porch. The dog slowly approached him and even dared to put its muzzle on his lap. "Well, my dear, did they leave you?" "But my dog recently died. She was already old. So I will always find food for you. Don't worry," Aaron said quietly. "Don't be afraid. Together, we can overcome any problem. You see how it happens. The time comes when we become useless to anyone. You recently had owners, and I once had a family." Maggie looked at this strange man and seemed to understand everything, and then she put her muzzle on his lap again. It even seemed to Aaron that tears were shining in the dog's eyes. For some reason, many people cannot understand such a simple thing, that an animal also has a soul and feelings. They, just like humans, experience pain, fear, and panic. They suffer and are bored, have fun, and rejoice. Just because as an animal doesn't mean you can do whatever you want with it. One day, Aaron went to the city for shopping and took Maggie with him. She did not like to be left alone at home, but on the road, she behaved very calmly, lying curled up on a soft seat. And then, near the shopping center, they accidentally encountered the former owners of an abandoned dog. The children saw her and began to shout joyfully, calling the dog by name. But Maggie, looking in their direction, did not move. She bared her sharp teeth and growled angrily, as if warning her former owners not to come near her. Their parents tried to explain something, but Aaron didn't even listen to them, and there was no point in saying anything. Is it possible to prove anything to such people? He looked at the dog and then at its former owners and just said, "When children grow up, they take their cues from the actions of their parents. You have already shown them an example of betrayal." After shopping, they went back home. The dog sat all the way with its head on its owner's lap. Winter was coming to an end, but the frosts were severe. Aaron caught a severe cold somewhere. He was a strong man. He was never sick, so he didn't even have basic medicine in his house. And then, as luck would have it, fever, cough, and a runny nose. In general, he came down with a high fever, and there was no one around. Only Maggie faithfully looked into the owner's eyes, as if asking, "How can I help you?" The house had not been heated for several days because Aaron could not even get out of bed, and all this could end badly, pneumonia. And so the devoted and brave Maggie went to look for help for her loved one. She ran around all the empty courtyards. Everywhere it was quiet and lifeless. A kilometer from their holiday village, there was a village in which there was a paramedic station. How Maddie could understand where to look for help is unknown, but she desperately, through the frost and wind, went there. She scratched the door with her claws for a long time and persistently, then barked and howled for a long time, attracting people's attention. Paramedic Ruslan could not understand what this dog, which caused a commotion throughout the village, wanted from him. He offered the dog, shaking from the cold, either a bone or sausage, but she categorically refused until one of the locals said that this was Aaron's dog from the neighboring Dacha village. Then it became clear to everyone that the dog was here in this weather for a reason. Apparently, something happened to her owner, and she asks for help. Aaron was taken to the hospital with double pneumonia, and Maggie was temporarily sheltered by a village paramedic. They often visited Aaron in the hospital with her until he returned home. The following summer, Maggie's former owners never came to the holiday village. They sold the dacha, and no one ever saw them there again. If this story resonated with you, please consider giving it a thumbs up and sharing it with your friends. For those who are new to this channel and haven't subscribed yet, I highly recommend subscribing now to ensure you don't miss out on future exciting stories.